Hey there, bud. Welcome to another episode of Three Toe Customs. I'm your host with the most, Three Toe Joe. If you didn't know, well, now you know. What have we got going on today? Well, today we got a pretty good one because we're going to be talking about clutches and belts on your Polaris razors. And what do you do if you blow a belt inside of your clutch and it ends up looking like this? Nice chunks of cord sticking all out in there in your clutches. Man, oh man, what a time. All right, so if you guys are interested in finding out how to take care of all this mess, you guys just follow along in the video and we're going to get right into her. Follow along. So first things first thing you got to do when you run into this is, well, you got to get the clutches out because you got cords stuck all in them that need all be cleaned out. So thankfully this ain't my machine here. This one here belongs to a friend of mine, Justin. He was out riding, he blew a belt, and then once he got the cover off and he realized what kind of mess he was in, he figured it was a little too much for him, so he called on me to give him a hand, and I don't mind at all. One little trick here about removing the secondary, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's a 15mm bolt. You can usually pop them off with an impact gun real easy, real quick. And they usually come right off. But this one here, it fought me. It didn't want to come right off. So one little trick that you can use if your secondary is giving you a hard time is you put your main bolt back in, thread her in, I'd say about 3/4 of the way, and then get yourself one of these guys, nice little 2-pound hammer. And, you know, don't go right to town on her, but give her some few whacks there, you know, just to send some impact into the shaft. And usually that's enough to loosen it up after I did that. And then I took the bolt back out. I gave her a couple of tugs. She popped right off for me. So with that being said here, now let's go take a closer look at this clutch on the table. All right, so next thing up, primary clutch. You got cord stuck in there, so might as well get that out and get it all cleaned out and everything at the same time. So basically what I find is the easiest way is I got a couple of extensions, or even if you have one long extension and 21mm impact socket right on my impact gun, bam bam, straight shot in, fits nice. You take the bolt out in a hurry. And if you ain't got yourself one of these, you need to get yourself one of these. Primary clutch puller, worth its weight in gold. I mean, just the price you're gonna pay bringing your machine into the dealer to have them do this for you, buying this one tool one time will pay for itself. So definitely nice to have, especially if you're going to be doing any kind of work in the clutch area, and if you're going to be going through belts with these kind of machines, which is always a likely thing. You know, it's good to have these tools here on handy. So a real simple thing here is you just pull out your main primary bolt and you replace it with this, and you thread that guy in until he seats all the way in. Normally I can do it, yeah. Just gotta pull this little shield up a little bit there for the guard. It's plastic, so that's easy. What I like to do is I like to just get it seated all the way in by hand first, and then we slap the impact gun on her and pop this primary off. Easy as that. Actually popped off fairly nice. So just gonna move this, and now we can take our bolt out and go ahead and get cleaning these clutches out here. Okay, so now that we got our clutches off and down to the bench, you can kind of a little better see what we're dealing with here. So we got a pile of cords wrapped up inside here. Thankfully, it doesn't look like anything's out in the inside. And these secondaries, well, they're kind of nice because they open up all the way. One thing though, if you have square pucks like these in your clutch, get rid of them. You need the round ones. These will ruin your clutches, and I am going to recommend that to my buddy. when I talk to him again here. But right now what we got to do is just work on getting these clutches cleaned out here. Alright, so I know this ain't the funnest part, but basically you just got to get in there and you got to find some edges and just start tugging at them. Alright, almost got these secondary here taken care of. There. And that's the end of her. Nice, that wasn't too bad. Maybe took, I don't know, a few minutes. Not too long. But, anyways, at least the clutch doesn't look like it took any damage or anything like that, so it's always good to inspect these. And maybe a little bit of scratches and some rubber stuck on the side here, but nothing too major. Anyways, if after something like this happens, it's always good to clean the clutches anyway. So we're going to go ahead and get the funner one here, primary clutch, and we're going to get the belts out of these guys and see what kind of fight that is here, and then we'll show you how to clean these clutches up. Alright, so first part of cleaning the clutches, blowing them out. All kinds of belt dust stuck in these. You want to clean all that out before you go spraying anything on these with anything else. So first things first is, give them a good blowing out. Oh, a lot of dust. Should probably do that outside. We'll be right back. You get the gist of it though. Okay, so now that you got your clutches all blown out, they're all dust free. Now you're good to go ahead and clean them. So what I like to just use out of something that I always have handy is just brake or parts cleaner that doesn't leave no residue, cleans off real nice. You can either use that or something like a rubbing alcohol or something like that, and then use a green Scotch-Brite bag. So basically, if you have a look in here, hopefully you guys can see this well. Where did it go? See, there's spots on the clutches here that have nice little marks and stuff like that. So we got to get all that stuff cleaned out, and it's good to give the clutch faces a new cleaning. And if you guys want to zoom in here a little bit to start off, what I like to do, give a little spray here, just give a preliminary wipe down, just clean off the biggest stuff here. I'll do that to both faces. And you want to make sure too, if you're using some kind of spray, not to go to town spraying here up and around this bearing, because it's got a little tiny bit of grease in there and you don't want to be washing that out. So you just want to pay mind to that. Sometimes what I do is I'll just spray it on the rag first and then wipe it down like that. It's even safer. Alright, so this is where your green Scotch-Brite pad comes into play. So basically what you're going to be doing is, if you want to just spray that down first, not spray directly on the clutch, that's not too bad. But so anyways, you're going to want to do this in a straight motion. So inside to outside, this is the way the manufacturer recommends to clean your clutches, and you just kind of work all the way around this shiv like that, going straight, you know. You don't want to be doing none of this side to side, circle, circle. This ain't your girlfriend on Netflix and chill night. This is a primary clutch. This is basically how they tell you how to do it. So real simple, just in and out. And it leaves all these nice straight lines. So it gives your belt a little nice clean surface and everything to grab onto. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a couple little spots on the primary clutch here where I can feel where it nicked the belt here with something, and I can feel little jagged edges. I'm just going to take a little piece of tiny fine grit sandpaper, and just with my hand, I'm just going to smoothen that out. There we go. Doesn't take much at all. There we go. So we don't leave no jagged edges here for the belt to get snagged up on. I just like to give her a secondary wipe afterwards just to clean off any extra residue, and then try not to touch the clutches on the insides with your hands again to get any oil on them. Alright, so there you have it. Sorry for cutting the video off short at the end there, but I realized during editing I was missing some footage, so I don't know what happened there. Maybe I forgot to hit the record button or something. But anyways, nothing too major. That was just me putting the clutches back on, giving you guys some torque specs. You know, so pretty easy stuff to do for the average guy. The only special tool you need is a clutch puller. So about $60 to $80 Canadian, depending on the brand. You want to stay away from the cheap ones because I've seen people get the cheap clutch pullers before, and when they go to remove the clutch, it just bends the clutch puller, which is no good. So you definitely want to get good quality. Something like Dalton makes them. A few other different ones. The one I have, I've had it for a few years. Never let me down yet. But you know, so not a very easy repair to do if you're out on the trail. But basically, if you're out on the trail, you're just looking to get the cords out of your clutches, get your spare belt on, just to get you home. You know what I mean? Which is always a good thing to have, a spare belt. So normally what I do is when I change my belt, if my little belt was still half decent, I'll just throw that in the machine and I'll keep that as a spare just in case. And I'll make sure to always have a few tools to make sure I can get my cover off and cut the old cords out and kind of save myself some hassle. Once you get home, you definitely want to take the time to take everything apart, clean everything out properly, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, hey, if you found the video helpful or informative smash those subscribe and notification buttons. Really goes a long way towards helping me build my channel, boys. But for now, y'all ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here because I got me some work to do. So keep the shiny side up, all four on the floor, and we'll catch you on the flip side.